special Halloween edition of Neighborhood Views What's New. Go behind the scenes of one of the state's most haunted locations, the USS Salem in Quincy, and learn about the world-class haunted house attraction called Ghost Ship Harbor. Travel back in time with Salem Witch Trials expert Kathryn Rutkowski, who will talk about the spooktacular new event called Haunting at Witch Hill in Topsfield. And chat with Halloween Nation author Lesley Bannatyne about trends associated with All Hallows Eve. What's new for Halloween? Here are your ghoulish co-hosts, Sharon, Fillyaw, and Sam Baltrusis from MATV's Neighborhood View.
My name is Sam Baltrusis. I'm the coordinator of MATV's Neighborhood View. Joining me, of course, is my lovely co-host, Sharon Fillyaw.
Hey, Sam.
How you doing, Sharon?
Pretty good. How do you like this set?
It's pretty spectacular.
This is pretty neat. I like it. I like it a lot.
So we have a clip on the USS Salem. The USS Salem is one of the most haunted locations in Massachusetts. In fact, it was in my book, 13 Most Haunted in Massachusetts.
Yes, and I must admit, I spoke to some of the people, who worked on the boat, and they actually relayed to me some of the stories about, the hauntings and the sounds that they heard. It was a little spooky, when, being on the ship.
Well, I'll tell you, Sharon actually went down like in the bowels of the vessel.
Yeah.
And there's a place called the Butter Room. So tell me about the Butter Room.
Well, the Butter Room is where I believe there was an earthquake in Greece in 1953 where the USS Salem was dispatched to help the victims and survivors. And they actually placed many, many dead bodies in the freezer.
Yeah, there were over 400 bodies kept in the morgue area, the meat locker, and they call it the Butter Room because that's where they made butter.
Right, and it's just a little spooky. And I'm usually not frightened of things like that. But hearing the stories of from the people who work on the ship, like going down, you could kind of feel this. I don't know, this presence. It was really interesting.
Well, Sharon, actually, did you meet somebody while you were on the vessel?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Well, I got this phone for you.
Oh!
This is.
Oh my goodness! Should I answer it?
Yes.
Hello. It's Captain Pipes. Hi. How are you?
She actually did meet a man on the USS Salem.
I'm so excited.
Hi, this is Sharon Fillyaw for MATV's Neighborhood View. What's new for Halloween? We're here on the USS Salem for the month-long Ghost Ship Harbor event. Now, this ship is haunted, so let's go inside and see what's going on. Here with me now is nationally acclaimed entrepreneur Jason Egan, hailing from Las Vegas. Jason, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me on. This is awesome.
It sure is. Now, the USS Salem, which is where you're having your Ghost Ship Harbor event, was one of a few locations that you had to choose from. Why did you finally choose the USS Salem?
We kind of fell into this location. Originally, we were going to do this event on an island, and we've been working on it for 2 years. But then we came across the ship, and I never in a million years thought that they would actually give us the ship to do this event on.
Wow.
And we came through, Matt, my business partner, and myself, we came through, and they said, that's no problem. And I was like, okay, you're about to give us this 800-foot long haunted battleship,
right,
and just let us do our thing on it. They're like, absolutely, because the city of Quincy wants to increase tourism, and they get it, so they really do. And that's what's important for events like this, to bring in people from all over the place, to increase revenue in hotels, restaurants, and everything else. And of course, increase revenue for the ship as well, too. And have good, fun, safe events. And what better place than this giant, iconic battleship? I mean, this thing is huge. Like I said, nearly 800 feet long, 10 decks high. I mean, it's an impressive ship. And not to mention, is what I'm understanding, is it's one of the top 10 scariest or most haunted places in Massachusetts, which is awesome. So you can't beat that. Having an iconic location known as USS Salem, named the USS Salem, and then be extremely haunted as well. That's cool. When you can hit all that stuff, all in one, it's a fun place. And there's so much room for expansion. If we wanted to, we could probably do 10 haunted houses on this ship.
Ooh.
So it leaves us for so many things in the future years. So we're going to do 3 attractions this year. We're going to do 2 haunted houses and our paranormal tour. So it's going to be killer. I can't wait. It's going to be under a tight timeline. We're working our butt off to get it done. But
I bet.
yeah, it's intense, but it's going to be good. We built haunted houses all around the world. I built them in Las Vegas, for 14 years,
Right.
Hong Kong, New York City, Nebraska, where I'm from. But, Boston's been one of those cities, New England, Quincy area has been one of those cities on my
Right.
list. So it's amazing that, this opportunity came up. So it's a huge opportunity. Literally, it is huge. And I always say, it's funny, now I can use the saying, we're going to need all hands on deck to get this thing done. We really are. There's a lot of stuff going on, but a lot of moving parts, but it's going to be killer.
With me now is Matt Roberto, the Director of Operations, the Nerve Center of Ghost Ship Harbor. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. So now, I was talking to your partner, Jason Egan, about how you came to choose the USS Salem. You had originally thought about using an island, there were different locations, and you finally settled on the USS Salem. So what led you to that?
So yeah, this has been a 4-year journey, basically trying to find, a location to, bring a world-class haunt to this market. Jason and I hooked up 4 years ago, and we first tried to do it. Actually, we tried to do it at Castle Island, and then that's how we ended up at George's Island. Almost pulled it off there. Didn't end up happening, and then we went back to Castle Island. Got real close to doing it there, and didn't end up happening. But through that course, we were trying to figure out, all right, where else could we do it? Once Fright Island or Castle Island, we saw it wasn't going to happen, and a couple people mentioned to me about USS Salem, and I ended up calling up Mike Condon here, the executive director. We hit it off, and we worked out an arrangement pretty quickly. And it was for the best. I mean, the ship's haunted, which adds a whole other element to it. It has a ton of infrastructure already.
Right.
So at Castle Island, we were going to have to bring in all this stuff. We don't have to do as much to make it look awesome here. I mean, the ship looks awesome already.
Hi. I just heard something. We're here on the USS Salem. It's supposedly haunted. I don't know what that was, but I'm getting the heck out of here.
Welcome back to the special Halloween edition of What's New. Joining me, of course, is my coworker from Essex National Heritage, Kathryn Rutkowski.
Hello.
Hello. So she's dressed in period garb. Let's talk about the events coming up. We have the haunting at Witch Hill.
Mm-hmm. So Essex Heritage is hosting a house party, and they are using the former home of the gentleman, railroad tycoon T.W. Pierce. And previously that property had been home to a number of other prominent people. Benjamin Crown and Shield from Salem, the family moved out